Why does the black man serve the white man? Why does everything the black man do benefit the white man? Why does the black man say freedom is doing what I want to do? And why is it that everything he wants to do enriches the European?
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Let me bring another caller with his hand up, and I know who this is. I just spoke to him offline. This is a guy that's been supporting our show, and this is his first time calling here in the paint, so please let him get his shine on. The last four digits is 5149. Welcome to In the Paint. Please introduce yourself and where you're calling from.
Yes, this is Eric Sauvé calling from Newport Beach, California. Eric's a well-read production. Great honor.
Thank you for calling in, brother. I definitely appreciate it. You've been definitely hyping our show, through your website, and I appreciate that, of course. So welcome, and please, the floor is yours.
I've been really honored to introduce your show to new audiences. I mean, In the Paint, the best theme song in the industry. Strong takes, minds like a weapon. Fantastic.
That's right. That's right. Thank you.
And I think, as I commented the other day, I learn more listening to your show, and other listeners do too, than we do listening to NPR, because you bring an unfiltered and an honest viewpoint. Well, it's back to we don't hear this enough on radio, and I believe there is a market of people like myself and many others who, as you say yourself, we need to. This is our brains are thirsting for this kind of information.
Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you.
We would. I appreciate. We were talking about Colin Kaepernick being named Citizen of the Year by GQ.
Before we get there, I just wanted to. We were just speaking of the gentleman. I'm sorry, I don't have his name. Was just speaking a moment ago about being able to bring the community coming together to invest in themselves, and I was struck by my remembrance of segregation in the 1960s, and with the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and Johnson and such, and the Great Society and everything, they all sought to tear down the barriers to engage, and then that allowed all the white merchants and the big box stores to come into the black neighborhoods with desegregation, and it destroyed a whole generation of black entrepreneurs and business owners.
Right.
And I guess technology has replaced some of that, but a lot of the ownership seemed to disappear then. That maybe I've missed it, but has it been replaced anywhere else in black wealth?
May I say something?
Please.
This gentleman who has been speaking, he has brought up a valid point within the entrepreneurship of, I'm going to say, within the South Jamaica Queens district. This is why, me personally, I promote that we as folk who reside in our political area, we need to vote. I have been a proponent of Southeast Jamaica Queens with Reverend Floyd Flake. I know and I have seen what the influx of government monies can do to a community. I have also been a proponent of Assemblyman Albert Vann in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. I also know what can come forth with the monies from the federal government in terms of voting and the Census Bureau, so forth and so forth, in terms of promoting monies towards these communities. I may be me personally, I may be in the minority of the voting system, the democratic voting system in certain areas. Philosophically wise, but I believe that this is the way that we need to exercise our power.
I strongly disagree, brother.
So do I.
Strongly disagree. Strongly disagree. Because,
and why
I'll
is
tell you
that?
the reason why. No disrespect to you, brother, but the illusion of inclusion game, they've been running that on us for the last 50 or 60 years. When I go to the polls, and I am a registered Democrat, by the way, when I go to the polls, I don't see nothing but blacks and whites, middle-class whites. I don't even see the other groups there. You don't need to vote in order to gain economic power in your neighborhoods and in your areas. A lot of these other groups that are coming over to this country, they don't even fall for the whole voting scam because they know it's a scam.
Yeah, I don't see no Korean politicians.
Only black people are we continually say at this, if you're going to vote your way out of this problem. You're going to vote your way out of the problem. First of all, at the federal level ain't listening to you anyway. So the only power you're going to have, I'm okay for the local level, your city, your city government. That's something you might be able to see there. But beyond that, everything else is bought and paid for. The only reason why the Democratic Party is even alive and surviving and floating is because of black people.
You said that you're okay for the local. You just said that you are okay for the local level.
Yeah,
but you're not okay for. You said that you are okay for the local level, but not for the levels above.
Yep, I agree with him on that.
I don't even care. I don't even, be honest with you, if you really want me to be honest with you, I really don't even care that much for the local level.
I want you to be honest. I want you to be honest with me because as I attended college, I was a part of SAC, Student Association Council, and I was a prominent member of the voting scenario for 4 years. So I know I've been a part of what's going on. So I really want to hear what your opinions are.
You gotta let them talk.
Well, let me chime in if I can.
Cut me off, but go ahead.
Exactly.
Well, no, let me let him finish, and then I'll go in after him.
Go ahead, brother.
You probably pretty much gonna say that because me and you done talked about this before. You're probably pretty much gonna say along the same lines. But if anybody can explain to me what this illusion of inclusion get the game they've been running this, what tangible benefits have we gotten out of that, other than just every 4 years? Oh, this person is gonna be your savior. No, this person is gonna be your savior. I'm tired of that. Like I said before, I don't want to do a march or none of that. Before we start getting out there marching, you let me know what your credit score is. Because if we all around the 700 range, we can all go bank at the same bank and get power from having loans for small businesses and loans for homes. We say, hey, look, we all bank with the same place. That's power. Just walking around with signs and
I agree
I'm
with
going to vote this person out. I'm going to vote that person out. That's not going.
Hold on, Mr. Bush. Hold on. Let him finish. Let him finish.
That's never worked.
Where's that sound wave at?
Philosophically, I agree with what you're saying. That's a premise that Marcus and Malcolm and Kwesi they predicted. But I'm saying with what we're dealing with here in America, don't you think that this is the way to go?
No, because we've been doing it all this point, and where has it gotten us?
Let me just address this. I don't believe. First of all, I'm really do not believe in these lazy catchphrases that everybody throws around as if it's real activism. Like, remember Dwight Gooden and Darryl Strawberry said, "Don't do drugs, go to school." You know, all of that stuff is bullshit. I'm not for voting. I'm for political education.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. If we were political, because voting without political education is like trying to do brain surgery with no medical training.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You know, if you're just going to pull levers just so you can say, I voted, just go to Atlantic City because at least you got a chance to hit something.
Yeah. We've never we don't vote as blocks like other ethnicities.
Because we're not a block.
Right.
We don't even consider ourselves a block. Do you know, like, just look at me and the resistance that I get talking about nationhood. You got niggas are Indians. They'll turn into Indians and get into teepees before they decide to get together.
Right. Or Holip, like the dude on your post today, you were talking about monarchy versus having terms, voting terms. Mm-hmm. You know, if we establish something, you know, overseas. And he's talking about we need a monarchy. No, we don't.
See, that old. See, this is the problem. And these are the reasons why I make these posts, because I'm going to expose all of these old school Negroes who haven't updated they thinking that we're going to be living like we was in the ancient Egypt. To get that shit out of your mind.
Please,
this is not ancient. If ancient Egypt was still relevant, it would be relevant.
Right. Right.
These systems that used to exist years ago are gone for a reason.
Right. And
if you don't update the way that you think,
if
you don't update your thinking and get with the goddamn program, you're going to be stuck in the past, and you're not going to be relevant.
Right. And he had the nerve to say that your post you were thinking Western. I'm like, no. No excuses. I'm thinking Western. Who's running this fucking world? Right. But
don't think that you're gonna scare me with that Western bullshit.
Right. But Holip, if it's me, you, and all who are building, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's Western in that? It's me, you, and all. There's nobody else in that equation.
Excuse me, but I live in the West.
Right. True.
I can't be something. I can't not be something that I've always been around.
Exactly.
And also, by living in the West, you're living in a first world society. You have certain expectations and ways of life that you're not going to sacrifice if you move somewhere else. When we go to Africa, there's a certain level of lifestyle that we are used to and accustomed to. I'm not going to live like I'm Davy Crockett. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
And I think that's what scares a lot of people, because everybody, when you talk about pioneering and starting something new, they're thinking about, you know, living in some damn tent and shitting in the woods.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And they don't understand that, like, it's not the same. It's not the same thing. There are nation states and cities that have been developed within 5 years' time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When people go over there, they're not in the woods taking shits and stuff like that. They actually have AC.
Hello?
I got a question.
They have modern living conditions while they're working. So this is what I'm saying. People need to stop living in the past and start updating their shit. And they can only do that when you fucking read. Mm-hmm. Read and see what's actually happening in the fucking world. Mm-hmm. Anybody's out here talking about monarchy as a solution to our problem is a fucking idiot.
Just look at Dubai. You know, how you are so right.
Why do you think if voting is so important, then what do you think why Black Wall Street and Tulsa, Oklahoma was destroyed, set on fire, people killed and everything? Why did that happen?
I can only answer, when it comes to voting, I can only answer as per my involvement in the communities that I have been involved in.
Ask you a specific question.
Listen, listen.
Cut to the chase, Richard.
I am here in Brooklyn and Jamaica, Queens, New York. I can't answer what's going on in Oklahoma.
Okay, well, let me answer for you since you don't know. The reason why that happened was because those black people were economically independent of the system, of the capitalist, normal American system. They had their own banks. They had their own banks. They had their own car dealerships. They had their own bus line, and black money was exchanging hands. That's the reason why they were destroyed. That's the reason why the towns were set ablaze. That's why they were killed. That's the reason why segregation came about, because during our 20s and 30s, we were better off, actually, because we were doing business with each other. The segregation came in because they wanted to control the economics. They said, hey, these black people in here doing okay for themselves. We need to get in here and add them to us so that way we can control them. That's the reason why. They didn't go in there and kill those folks, wipe them out and everything because they was worried about their voting potential. They didn't care nothing about their voting potential. They saw economic
Let them finish, Richard.
freedom.
Let them finish.
They saw economic freedom. That's what they were scared of. And that's the game that they've been playing to this day. Instead of you coming to me saying, hey, let's invest.
Richard,
we can't. I'm done. Go ahead. Don't cut me off anyway, but go ahead. I'm done.
I am not disagreeing with you.
It must pain Richard and Mark for y'all to talk, boy. I swear, it's like they literally are in pain while other people are talking.
This is what Marcus Garvey was talking about. Our own economic strategy.
Not within the constraints of America, though.
No.
Exactly.
But Marcus Garvey wasn't talking about voting, though. What
right.
talking about?
Voting is a sham.
Voting, see, like I said, voting is up there like with one of those lazy catchphrases like don't do drugs and go to school. It's just, it's lazy, it's uninspiring, it's one-dimensional. Because it's like I compare it to like my hooker analogy. Like if the hooker wasn't paying her pimp, she can take all the money for herself. Well, yeah, in theory that makes sense, but realistically, she's a hooker. There's a reason why she got a pimp to begin with.
All the more reason for her to go for herself.
Oh, Lord, you just totally dismissed the exact point that I just made.
I'm done. Okay, that's it. I'm done.
You're totally dismissing what you're dealing with and just glossing it over and going to some other theoretical thing that is not relevant. You can't dismiss the fact that the reason why this girl has a pimp is the problem. If she was independent thinking, she wouldn't have had a pimp to begin with. And it's the same thing with voting. People want to dismiss the reality of our situation and just say, well, let's forget all of that. Just go to the polls and vote. I used to have this argument all the time with people. Like, there was people that would always make the argument about black folks don't keep their neighborhood clean. I said, well, first of all, it ain't their neighborhood. Let's get that out the way. Because when you have a neighborhood, you tend to keep it clean. When you have something that you have a stake in, as a matter of fact, you don't need police all the time to make sure that the neighborhood is clean because the citizens will fuck you up if you mess it up.
Correct.
Because they feel that this is ours. This is something that's a part of us because we helped build it. If you didn't help build it and you were just placed there, what affection and what sentimentality do you have toward it? Fuck it. And then you're at the bottom of the society getting treated like a second and third class citizen anyway. So then you dismiss all of that, and then your issue is pick up that piece of paper off the concrete. Come on, man.
It was war they wanted and war they got, but they worked it in the heat where my Uzi got hot when I